Hey guys. If you've watched my channel, you probably understand that I have a real problem with the end times speculation business. I think it's really detrimental to the church's testimony, and I think it hurts the gospel of Jesus Christ. I believe that people should not be getting on YouTube in front of the public using the name of Jesus and the Bible and the banner of Christianity to speculate about the future, to make predictions, and to make false promises and give people false hope or give people false alarms about the so-called end times. I do not believe anyone knows what the end times look like from our vantage point. I do not believe we have been given the ability to read that. And if you want to sit around and speculate with your close friends or keep it to yourself and dream away that you'll be whisked to heaven shortly, that's totally fine. It's a free country, but don't get on public YouTube and use the name of God and prophesy falsely and mislead a lost and dying world that's desperate for the truth. That's just a really bad testimony. So that's essentially the theme of my YouTube channel. I'm trying to push that down. Jan Markell happens to be in the speculation business, and she actually makes a living from it. Jan Markell makes a six-figure income. This is documented, by the way. You can look this up on the IRS website. You can find her nonprofit 501c3 paperwork, and you'll see right in there that in the last few years she's taken home more than $100,000. I'll just put it that way. And basically, what is she making that money doing? She's making that money telling everyone that she can tell that we are the last generation of planet Earth as we know it, that we will soon be whisked into heaven, that all hell is going to break loose on planet Earth any second, but we're going to miss all of it. And here are the signs of that coming, and anyone who disagrees with me is just an apostate. And so, buy my books, buy my stuff off the website that I run. It's just really disgusting. And then she dares to call this a ministry. There's no ministry like that anywhere in the Bible, okay? So I have a real disdain for people like this, false prophetess. But here's where she really gets dangerous. This video goes far beyond that and gets into areas of how we are to then live our lives as Christians, and how are we to love our neighbors? How are we to protect our families? What are we supposed to do as we live here on this earth? And when we see evil coming, what is our response to it? Here's just another hand-wringing video by Jan Markell where she's glommed onto this Great Reset idea that World Economic Forum has been talking about. And of course, in her mind, it's the one world government, the takeover of the world that is in play here. And totalitarianism is what she's talking about, and that's very real. Totalitarianism is a very real danger in the world, always. And we do need to be on guard as Christians and as humans, as American citizens. She's sounding this alarm about this totalitarianism, these ideas, and I think she's got a point. We do need to be careful and watch that our liberties are not removed, and watch that our republic is not destroyed. And depending on your point of view, you could say that America is kind of on that path, and I see those points of view. That's not my argument at all. But here is where it's dangerous. When you take a view that Jan has here, that we are absolutely in the end times. The rapture is any second. We are the last generation of planet Earth as we know it. And you couple that with, here comes totalitarianism, what you end up with is a very toxic soup of complacency. So if we see totalitarianism coming, which brings with it death and suffering to millions upon millions of people, whether they're Christians or not, our neighbors, our friends, our family, the people we're supposed to love, that Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. He said, lay down your life for your friends. If we see totalitarianism coming, we need to do something about that. But I want to show you why this point of view basically says, don't worry, don't do anything. So she's just gotten done describing what the World Economic Forum wants to do, and this guy, the host of this program, Nathan, he's going to kind of walk through what he sees like this is the agenda of these one world government people.
My goodness. I went to that website and looked at some of what they're trying to accomplish here.
Yeah.
Eliminate national sovereignty and independence, destroy and replace the free enterprise economic system, eliminate private property, own nothing but still be happy, abolishing Christianity, moving to a cashless society and a universal income. And one even said, everyone will be equal, everyone will be secure from the ravages of competition, and as a result, the whole world will be happy and be at peace. Are they going to achieve something like that?
Yeah, so that right there has been attempted and succeeded at some level for all of history. A totalitarian regime coming in and saying, hey, everybody bow down and do what we say, get rid of all other forms of authority. We are now the authority. In fact, in totalitarianism, they become the reality. Their attempt is not just to be the rulers of law, but of reality itself. And so that's what this is describing here. And if this isn't just a bunch of hand wringing, and it's true, and it's really a danger, yeah, we should really pay attention. But here's what Jan says that's dangerous.
Well, in a sense they are, but it won't work. But I believe, it's my opinion, that the tribulation, it's spoken of in the Bible, the 7-year tribulation is the reset. Now, obviously, something has to disappear before all this can happen, and that's the church. And I believe that the great reset for the Christian is the rapture.
Did you hear what she said? Obviously, for this to happen, something has to disappear, and that would be the church. So I'm dumbfounded. What are you talking about, lady? So wasn't it just a generation ago? I was in high school when the Berlin Wall fell and the Iron Curtain came down. I mean, I remember clearly. We used to sit around the table at night as a family and do our prayers after dinner. And one year, my father was convicted to pray for Christians behind the Iron Curtain because they were being thrown into not prison but mental institutions because they proclaimed the name of Christ by the millions over in countries today that we wouldn't even kind of imagine that would happen. Eastern European countries, East Germany, Czechoslovakia, places like that. And then, of course, all of the Russian countries. Was it not just a generation ago that Russia and Germany and the Slovak countries and others were under a regime of totalitarianism where this very thing actually occurred? It wasn't worldwide. It wasn't one world government that she fantasizes is coming in the Book of Revelation. Book of Revelation never says any such thing, by the way. It wasn't that, but it was that scary bulleted list of items that Nathan read for those countries. And so here she is talking, and when we describe this stuff in the video here, the stuff on this slide, and this here, there are countries right now that live under this totalitarianism today. And this is what we're afraid is coming to America. But Jan, instead of saying, now, as Christians, here's what we need to be aware of, and as Christians, here is what we need to do. No, she doesn't say that at all. She says this.
Christian is the rapture. The rapture of the church is our reset. But the world, I believe, is going to go through the earthly reset, which is the tribulation and the great tribulation, from which masses of humanity wiped out because it's such a catastrophic time. And then Jesus Christ and the believers come back in the second coming, or no flesh would be saved. That's what these people are heading to.
She does not know that. So even if her eschatology were correct, let's assume it's correct and she's reading the Bible correctly, and that such a time is coming upon the world. She doesn't know that this is the time. She could have said 60 years or 80 years ago, 100 years ago, that sure looked like that was the time when Europe was being taken over by all manner of rulers who ran regimes. George Orwell's 1984. That's the scary thought here, that people are thinking might be coming. And yet Jan thinks, well, that's never going to happen until we, the church, are gone. And the rest of you people will have to just go through this. Not me. I'm not going to have to. Guys, that is extremely dangerous. It teaches Christians not to do anything. Don't act on this. Don't fight it. Now, I'm sure she would say we should pray against it. I'm sure her heart is somewhat in the right place here, where she's warning people like, hey, we need to stop. We need to do something. We need to be aware of what's happening. But see, at the end of the day, her message is, don't worry, guys. We're out of here before this happens. She does not know that.
Do they know it? I don't know, because I don't hang out with Klaus Schwab and Prince Charles. But I think if I could, and I could ask them, I think they know that they're heading towards a system that's evil, that's godless, that has no Christians. And they're right, the church is gone. There'll be people who will come to faith during the tribulation.
Jan, you may be entirely wrong. In fact, I guarantee you're wrong. This entire thing might happen, and all of us are still here. Every Christian you know is still here. Do you understand what you're saying? You're telling Christians, this isn't any of our business. We're going to be gone. Wow, is that dangerous? What happens? What are you going to tell your great-grandchildren, Jan, in heaven when you see them? And when they get there and they say, hey, thanks a lot, lady, for leaving us that entire garbage heap that we had to live through for a generation. Thanks a lot. We appreciate all you Christians doing something about that back then when you could have stopped it and you didn't. Instead, you promised people we were going to be whisked into heaven. Shameful, absolutely shameful, and extremely dangerous.